Welcome to a series of podcasts discussing series of films.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
In a world inundated with prequels, sequels, spin-offs, and reboots, we ask the question,
Do we need one more? I think we do.
I think we don't.
So
Dave-
you... What? Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
No, you...
We didn't say who was going to start this episode.
No, we didn't. I think we both had prepared bits.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Here we go again. That was the bit that I was trying to slip. Do both? We can do both.
We can do both? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Here, I was going to do the here we go again.
Oh, you did do
Yeah,
that?
so I did do
that
it.
was good. That was subtle.
What was yours?
I was going to be like, so I heard you have a hot take.
Oh, yeah, I've got a hot take.
And then just eyeball you for the next like 12
Okay,
minutes.
but
or
here's
maybe
the
the whole
thing.
episode.
It's not that hot of a take. I have receipts. I
You
brought
have
it.
receipts?
I have receipts. It's not a hot take. Should I just say it first?
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's a good setup for like what we're talking about.
Okay,
but
well-
I will pause and keep going, Mamma Mia,
Well, I guess
every couple of minutes.
so. Obviously, the intro that we just did kind of gave it away, and also I'm sure the title of this episode also gave it away.
Yeah, if you
But
clicked on this and this isn't your bag, too bad. It should be.
we are fans of action movies. We're
Yes.
fans of horror movies. We're fans of sci-fi movies. We're fans of musicals, baby.
We're fans of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Get-
going to try and slip in two more genres real quick, and then you said musicals, and I'm like, we're gone.
I was gonna make a joke, and I was gonna say like come in or get fucked. Like I was like we like musicals, just accept it. But I was going to say something, and I can't remember what I was going to say.
I was going to slip in sad coming of age dramas,
Sure.
and then parodies.
We do love both of those. That's
Yes,
true.
but you already moved on to musicals,
You know
which
what
is how
movie
you end that
rules?
sentence. So I didn't want to like walk it back, but now I'm talking about it, so I have. But
This is a movie that we could never cover on the podcast, but I was cleaning my apartment the other day, and I was watching Moneyball.
my favorite musical.
Oh, what? Honestly, a little. I'm with you.
They're like the numbers.
There's like some like fun little graphs, but okay. But getting to the point. So we are taking a brief hiatus, and by
Yes,
brief we mean this
we're
one
interrupting
episode.
the saga that is the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yes,
To talk about the one and only, except it has a
the
sequel.
two and only. Yeah,
For me, it's still the one and only, but we'll get into that.
get into it.
But we're doing Mamma Mia, and Mamma
Yes.
Mia, here we go again.
Yes, maybe one of the most obvious titles for a sequel outside of Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I'll never get over it. I don't care that the third movie's called that. Okay.
Yeah, it should have been the second one.
Yeah, at that
Yeah.
point, you just got to do Now You Free Me.
I was with like the number 3.
Yeah, it's never
Yeah.
enough. They can't
Yeah.
catch up. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm really sad that this wasn't called Mamma Mia again and again, but you know,
Fair. And repeat.
and repeat. Yeah,
Well, yeah, so we
rinse,
did.
wash, and oh my.
We knew we were going to take like a brief moment in between doing the first 3 Mission Impossibles and then the subsequent films. We talked about some Tom Cruise movies. We talked about some action movies. We
Yes.
talked about some other movies. And we've landed on Mamma Mia.
Yeah, we only talk about the greats on this. So today it's
Yeah.
Meryl Streep.
That's true. Meryl.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Meryl.
This is okay.
It's Meryl.
This is not my hot take, but I do think these movies, and I do reference it maybe more specifically in the first one, but I think these movies are made by their cast. In a lot of ways. Like with Love to, I'm not excluding the ABBA songs being incredibly catchy and just wonderful music.
Super freaking
Super
catchy.
Trooper.
Super.
Would you go
Trooper.
so far as to say?
Yeah, lights are gonna find me. I think
Hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the crowd.
somewhere in the crowd.
There's
yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
doing his best.
Doing a little.
Okay.
Doing better than Russell Crowe.
In 2, when they break up and he's going like that, I was like, dude, this is the movies, baby. This is what I'm talking about.
Wait, which part? When at the
Dancing
end,
Queen.
when they all come back to the island.
Yeah,
again?
yeah. When it's the whole arrival and everything.
Yeah, so just not to like get too afraid because I think we're gonna start with 1.
Yeah,
move
let's
to
just
2.
start with 1.
I'm not super hot on 2.
Okay.
But that part got me a little.
It's a great. Okay, so my hot take, which is not that hot of a take, I can save my receipts for the end, but I
Okay.
do have them.
No, go. I do think it does lay the groundwork for how we want to probably discuss
Talk
this.
about
Probably
these.
the best, but
True. So I we'll get this out the bat because I posted my letterbox review, and friend of the show, man, we've referenced on this podcast, Nathan, commented on my letterbox.
MVP.
He commented on my letterbox review like 5 minutes after I posted it. He just said, Matt, certified Mamma Mia hater. Not true. I love Mamma Mia. I think it's a ton of fun, but I do think the second one is a better crafted movie. And I certainly think it's a stronger, I think specifically in terms as a movie musical, and this is my thing. The music of ABBA is fantastic.
Yes.
Right? Like that stays, adjusted. Like the movie, this music is great. The numbers in the first Mamma Mia are kind of a lot of nothing. The choreography, I think,
narratively or
in the choreography. I think they are pretty consistently uninteresting.
It's kind of a lot of coverage, but
it's also a lot of nobody's really doing anything. This is my whole thing. Isn't watch it. The movie is an experience. Like it is something, and I say this as a compliment. It is fully as a compliment. It happens to you. It is like open your body and fill yourself with the world of ABBA. And I love that about it.
Yeah.
And the cast is very clearly having a good time.
Yeah.
It's been heavily said that they were having a pretty good time drinking.
Yeah.
Like having which like good on you. You're in Greece, or I'm assuming you're in Greece.
You're drunk.
Yes.
James Bond's at the end of a dock.
What are you gonna do? I do have a note in the first one. I just said, God, Pierce Brosnan is so hot.
He is.
It's like, God, he just like he looked towards one of the characters, and I was like, holy
There's
shit.
that moment when they're doing SOS, and he's like, and he like comes into the doorway,
Yeah,
and he starts like going for it, and all the women are like, if you're not gonna take him, like, is that offer like open to everyone in the room, or just
everyone's
her?
like, listen, what are you doing? But I think the cast is great. I think they're having a great time. I think everybody's given their best in terms of like vocal performances, including Pierce Brosnan, which we'll get into it. Obviously, he's said he's not a singer, but I leave him unscathed because I can tell he's trying. Like he knows
he's better than some other people who have done musicals very recently.
And I think the second one handles, because it does have the benefit of being original, right? This is obviously the first movie's based on a Broadway musical. You're just adapting the musical. The second one, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So I think they are able to deal with Brosnan, I think, better.
They are.
Because I think SOS is emotionally and thematically stronger in 2 than I think it is in 1.
It is, but do you think it wouldn't feel stronger if it hadn't been the song he sings to her in the first movie?
Sure, but I would say, that's off of the bat. Whether like the music itself in the first one is motivated in that moment. I also think SOS in the first movie is one of the better ones. I don't think all the songs are completely unprompted.
They're a little, but it's like, as you're saying that though, in 2, there's a lot of moments where they're like, fuck it. Like a little
What
bit.
songs are you thinking?
Well, like Dancing Queen. Like it feels right, but the actual like lyrics of that moment to like what's happening don't feel, it is a little like hit the theme song. Like,
so what I would say is the movie sets up Donna as they say it in the beginning, right? They say that she's the dancing queen. And we also use that in the first movie. Again, I think in the first movie, Dancing Queen kind of is a reprise of I can never pronounce it.
Chiquitita?
Yes, thank you. It's kind of almost it's like
we're
Julia Waters, we're Christine Baranski, and we're like trying to pick up Meryl Streep. And then they do it again with Dancing Queen. Yeah. So we kind of are.
It is like the we're gonna uplift you kind of moment.
Sure.
I will say, like when they do it in the second one, it is a pretty fantastic number. I do really like everyone on the boat and the way it looks. Like it's like there we go. Like to me though, but that's kind of my problem. The movie doesn't feel like a Mamma Mia movie until that moment. Like as a sequel, like weirdly, I don't, and maybe I'm just really biased. I will put that out there. That
no, fair.
But like.
Go ahead.
We have
a friend that does not like Mamma Mia 2, and I have had this conversation with her, and I'm not. It's certainly not me trying to instill my opinion, but I am right and correct. No, I'm kidding. No. But
it is. There's the hot take.
So no, we'll talk about one. Let's talk about one.
Let's talk about one. Yeah.
So I guess what was your experience with Mamma Mia?
So okay,
as a show, as a movie.
So it was 2008, which means I was obsessed with 2 movies and 2 movies alone. The Dark Knight,
right,
and Mamma Mia.
Right. Fair enough. Valid.
Because there was the original Barbenheimer.
True.
It was that summer. Those were the highest grossing movies, I think, of the year.
I'm trying to think of
I meant to fact check this, but I ran out of time this week to really hammer in my research. But no, like I just remember there was basically the year that came out, that movie we played a lot that summer when we were all hanging out. Like it was like that weird thing, like everyone was like getting a little bit older, but like everyone was still like, it was still summer vacation. So like that movie would just be on like a lot.
Sure.
Because I have, Caitlin, my youngest sister, we watched this movie like all summer basically that one time. Like I sent her a photo of a clip from the movie and she perfectly wrote out and sent the text before the character said the next lines, but she just wrote out the dialogue to that scene. And like I sent the photo and she was like, she just quoted it via text in the moment, like right then and there. And I was like, whoa, I literally was like reading it and hearing the actors like say it. I was like, that is fantastic.
You're synced up.
Yeah, she was like, it was like Pacific Rim Jaeger quality,
love it
kind of thing. But yeah, so like I watched it like I've seen this movie like so many times, and I've listened to the soundtrack a bunch. But yeah, I'm a very big fan of the first one, and I had never seen the second one up until today.
Nice.
Just for this episode.
Sure.
Because we're doing our big Mamma Mia special today. So
That's right.
I have to come prepared.
Hey, that's fair. And this is an exciting one because they do talk. There have been talks about Mama 3.
I know. I don't.
We'll
get to that. I guess that's the I don't want to spoil the answer to the question.
I do. So yeah. So I guess So Mamma Mia was a movie that I actually didn't watch until high school. I not out of any like avoidance, but I just like had never really watched it. My dad's not a very big musical person. My mom likes them, but isn't super like they're not really keeping up with it. I'm kind of I was like the only movie person and like certainly the only theater person in my family. So like I kind of would discover things on my own time. Mamma Mia, yeah, I think I watched actually with you and your family for the first time. And my experience
we had like a big like thing.
And I will say like, and again, this is again a compliment. I think if you are with a group of people and you are all going to put on a movie, whether it is as active watchers or to enjoy camaraderie, Mamma Mia is the best movie to put on.
Yeah.
It is such a blast.
It's a breezy like hour 43, I want to say.
Something like that.
It's basically like a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Moves. The pacing, I think, it's a thing of like this movie's just, it's light, it's fun.
It's a cartoon, dude. It's crazy.
It's awesome. But I also love that it's like the actual like plot and like style is very like Shakespeare, like ancient Greek kind of like shenanigans.
Well, so this is where, and I was talking with Laura, my girlfriend Laura, about this. This is where the choreography really kind of gets me, is that something that I love is like how theatrical, like the villa looks like a Broadway set.
It's kind of like a set, yeah.
It's kind of like a set. The lighting is, and I like say this with love, it is like, it's a lot of lighting. It's very bright. Yeah. Everything, like people's skin are like the same color as the sun. Like we're
still learning what color grading is, like actually.
Well, but that's the thing is that it's like, we've had well colored movies. Like this movie is like intentionally big and broad, and a lot of the physicality of the performers are crazy and big. And Meryl Streep is like doing backflips.
She's incredibly limber.
She's fantastic.
Which is everyone is like she's iconically like The Devil Wears Prada, and she's very like stiff.
She's a stoic
and it's like
individual,
to see her like jumping and like toe touching and like rolling around on the ground.
Well, it's like
wow.
People are like ducking down and then like popping up like 50 feet away. Like the movie is broad and exaggerated and theatrical, and I say that all as compliments, which is why whenever we do a song and it's people, it's like money, and we have the Fates, right? We have the chorus, we have this
Greek
crowd
chorus comes in,
which I love.
Having a Greek chorus that's made of the villagers is it's perfect to me.
So when we're doing that and we're doing money, and the whole number is all of you just walk around Meryl Streep, and Meryl just like hold this board and don't really do anything with it.
Yeah,
like it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, okay, like if you're gonna go like 100, go 100, like, is my thing, where I'm like, if you're going to do a number, there are a few moments where they do it and I think it clicks. A lot of that is like Voulez-Vous. I think
is awesome.
Works really well because when we have a crowd of people, I'm like, if we're doing that, let's have like the chaos, the kind of chaotic nature of the movie really, I think, finds its footing and clicks into place in Voulez-Vous, and it becomes very like claustrophobic and kind of like exciting and nervous at the same time. I think it really works. But then, yeah, there are other scenes where I'm like, I feel like Money is one where I'm like, none of us are really doing anything. There's a lot of times.
There's not really like a lot of choreography. There's only like a handful of numbers that really have like.
It's Voulez-Vous. There's a little bit with Dancing Queen on the Dock, but the choreography is this. And then that, and that's it. And
for those of you who aren't watching the visual component of this, he waved his hands to the right and then he waved them to the left.
And then a little bit at the bottom.
A little at the bottom, but then there's that moment where they go like double up and then they're like they're waving up high.
But it's like when we have 80 people and we're just kind of doing one extreme wide shot where we're covering everybody and everybody is doing 3 moves on repeat. I'm like, this is Dancing Queen, man. This is like this is the number kind of a thing.
Yeah, but it's such a like, it's still such like a, I don't know why, but the energy that everyone has, and it just feels like everyone's having fun. I almost don't care.
Which is, I get that, which is why I'm saying like it's still a blast. I'm not sitting there being like, wah, you know what I mean? Like,
are you sure?
I'm not doing like Tim Robinson's like, are you sure? Like kind of a thing. But like, I am sitting there like, okay, look, if you're doing the set, if everybody's playing it at a 10, like if you're doing all this stuff, like choreographed the music. Because it's also like, it's not like it's like, well, we're just going to showcase the ABBA songs because it's a jukebox musical. Like I think about Singing in the Rain, which is a jukebox musical and has incredible numbers. And I think about I Want You and Across the Universe, which is this like staggering visual,
that
thing.
Nuts.
Like, and it's like
that is an underrated movie.
Like,
Across the Universe.
And that number, the I Want You of like Uncle Sam reaching out, and
it's like a big thing. Actually, it's funny you bring that up though, like because this movie is directed by the original director of the stage musical. Like she came in to do the movie, so it is interesting. There aren't that many like actual like choreographed numbers.
Which, hey, I mean, look, I have not seen. There might be people yelling at me right now in the comments. Like it's like I have not seen the stage musical, so maybe that is a product of the musical,
apparently.
Okay, because
I can't remember it all, but I remember knowing all of this, but it's since left me. But no, the original one has like a very like different plot. It's a little bit like Grease, where it's like the original one is like a big ensemble thing, and then the movie's like we're gonna really focus on the Danny-Sandy relationship.
Fair.
Mamma Mia's I think has a similar thing, or actually I think it's actually even more Donna centric. Like it's like she sings almost like, I think she sings like majority of the songs in the thing, and then in this one they like split it up and give it to people. Like in SOS and the original one, the guys don't have any numbers in the original one. I'm pretty sure. I think it's like just the women.
That's interesting then if we're giving Brosnan
we're gonna make Brosnan
duet.
sing. I know, which I don't know if that's like sort of like a weird reference to like back in the 50s, there's another really famous musical called Guys and Dolls, which is sort of like considered like a perfect Broadway musical. When they did the movie version, their big like marketing selling point was like, come see Marlon Brando singing. And they're like, what a weird thing to like say out loud. And like that would be like the intrigue. But then like the biggest criticism of the movie is like, Marlon Brando can't sing.
Yeah, maybe get like, singers.
Maybe get singers. Yeah. And then like Sinatra's like sitting there being like, that should be Gene Kelly.
I haven't seen the stage show, so like maybe
I haven't seen it either. I don't even think I've seen clips.
And
I'm too attached to the first movie.
Fair. Well, I've seen this movie. I've seen the first movie, like I don't know. At this point, I've seen it like 6 or 7 times at least. Like I have seen it a ton. I really love watching it. I think it's a ton of fun. It makes me feel I'm watching it smiling.
Yeah.
But I think I think a lot of the moments when the music, when they want the movie to be intimate, I feel like become a little null because of the way that we are not really doing a lot with the actors. I think when we do the intimate stuff, I think Our Last Summer is a number that really works.
Where they're on the boat?
And it's Herb on, like Colin
and
Firth
sort of reconnecting with one of her potential dads.
Yeah, I think
for the plot, in case if you're
sure, I guess
listening,
this
is
is probably right.
Phil talk, but like,
yeah.
So Sophie's getting married, which is she's Amanda Seyfried,
Yes.
and she never knew her dad,
Yes.
and she read her mom's journal, realizes there are 3 potential dads out there, and so she invites them all to her wedding, unbeknownst to her mother, and then shenanigans ensue.
Yes.
So then like flash forward, they're on the boat, and she's sort of reconnecting with all of them in sort of separate and unique ways.
And it's them talking about, like I was talking with Laura about this, and she was like, they're all like really ready to just like throw their lives away and just
they're all like,
and I'm like, I think that's
down bad to be a dad.
Totally. And I think Our Last Summer is that moment where obviously, Sophie is connecting with her dads, but I think also the dads are realizing that they're like, oh, this moment in my life, like this was something I shouldn't have walked away from.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Which I think is great. And then I think, which also again leads into another highlight of the movie, which is Voulez-Vous.
Yeah.
Of them all being like, you know what? I am going to be your dad. And she's like,
the fact that they
oh,
all
shit.
are like, they're like, I'll be there. Like, don't look at me.
But I think stuff like that, I think when I cannot believe that Winner Takes It All.
Yeah.
I think that moment where Meryl she's standing on a rock by a church and she's belting, and I was
longingly into Pierce Brosnan's steely eyes.
I was watching it with Laura, who adores this movie and does not share the same opinion I do about the 2 movies, and she was like, this is probably like the part that's a little boring for me. And I was like, do you think it's because all of the numbers people have been standing and singing to somebody else?
Okay, well that's fair.
That
I guess
if we are actually allowing the numbers to be as broad as they are, that when Meryl is standing on a boulder by herself and it's as dramatic, there's wind, she has the shawl, it's blowing.
Well, it's very like The Hills Are Alive.
Yeah,
like when
that
Julie
it's like
Andrews comes up over the ridge a little.
That moment then clicks a little more, and she was like, maybe, yeah. And I was.
Have you also considered though that it's Meryl and we don't need any more? No,
it's no. I think that number works.
No, it does.
I'm saying
it does.
in contrast to everything else that's happening.
I feel like even though the numbers aren't choreographed, it is a lot of people hanging out, and I really buy their friendships and their interactions, and I feel like they're having so much fun that I'm having so much fun that I don't care.
I totally get that.
Like those are fair points, because I do feel like the second one does come in with more choreographed numbers, but I feel like there's other caveats to the second one, but we'll get there. Yeah. But I also want to say, since we're on the hillside mountain solo, I think it is hilarious that they're all like, day of the wedding, let's do an all-day hike up the mountain to the church.
So funny.
Sounds romantic, but I was like, you're telling me on the most stressful day of your life, you're going to wake up early, do your hair and makeup, everyone get into nice suits, and then go on a hike.
Well, Meryl has something where she like, it's when she runs up, it's right after that number, and I think she's like she's going to rub her feet, or some of her friends, obviously, maybe the most iconic characters in the movie, Christine Baranski and Julie Waters.
They are.
That they go up, and she's like, these are my good shoes, it's okay. Like she says something that is pretty funny.
They have a line at the second one where they're a little like, I can't believe, I think this gets longer every time we do it.
It's so good. And like, okay, I will also say, like, in terms, the best, I say this as obviously hyperbole, but one of my favorite moments in this movie is in Dancing Queen, is when that old woman carrying the stick, she says, oh yeah, and throws it off.
See, that's what I love about that number. I know there's not a lot of like actual choreography, but I'm like, fuck yeah, we're here. We're out here, ladies. Let's go.
I totally
get swept up in the whole thing, and I feel like that's kind of the power of the movie, is that it's so good at like,
fair,
you
but
just like lose yourself in the like adventure.
I think you can't. Oh, I'm totally on board with
that. I will agree. Technically speaking, though, it isn't doing very much.
If you look at like a West Side Story or whatever,
yes.
like, we're going to.
Like, there's a lot more going on.
It's like, and I'll in reference to Steven Spielberg's one, the one that we have chatted about and adore,
chatted about
plenty of times. Like when we get to the school dance, and like we have this entire crowd of people, and we're getting to see how people interact with each other. But then we're doing these, like, when that camera swings down in that gym, and like everyone's dancing, like you're like, yeah,
we are kind of missing that in the Mamma Mia. But
that's the big thing that takes it out of me. That especially again when the movie is staring you in the face with like a saturated neon sign, being like, we're big, we're broad, and I'm like, then
part of me wonders if, because this is the year of the Dark Knight. This is the era where of dark and gritty. Like Jason Bourne has redefined spy movies. James Bond is responding to that. Like with, like we're literally like we have a James Bond who was like the like wink and a smile kind of guy, and then we switch to Daniel Craig, who's like, I will throw you off of the roof, and then like
burst
pile drive
wall.
my knees down your throat, like I will tear through an embassy and kill everyone, kind of guy. Like it's just everything's like dark and like, and I feel like we got like a wave of like musicals where we were kind of ashamed that we were doing musicals, and I actually wonder if that's part of why there aren't very many choreographed numbers, because there's a pressure to not be so silly, but like it's Mamma Mia.
That's the thing.
And I feel like what we are getting is sort of the compromise potentially.
Maybe.
But I don't know, because like you think like in like 2 years or 4 years we're gonna get Les Mis, which is the most I'm ashamed that I'm a musical I've ever seen. We have people not singing operetta, like it's like it's and I still like a lot of that movie, but it's like it is kind of ashamed of its genre, which is a wild thing to be. And I feel like that's another thing makes me love this Mamma Mia so great, is that it isn't ashamed of its genre and fully embraces it.
I get that,
but these are fair points that there isn't any choreography and that it is kind of just coverage.
I also it's a lot of just coverage. I think sometimes like the visual language just doesn't work in oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the number, but in Sky's number, when he jumps off the rock, that is a rough cut, dude.
It is a rough cut. But I don't know, some part of it's like reminds me of like Grease a little bit, like where it is like it's just kind of silly. Like there's no reason for any of this to be happening.
Well, I'm fine with it being silly. I love that the men are like demons. Like they like
just emerge out of the water,
emerge
like
from the water. Later in the number, they're like in masks scaling the cliffside. Like I was like, we have to get them away.
No, but tell me that's not the most fun like bachelor or bachelorette party of like, because like Abby and I were talking about this a little bit, like where it's like it's my last night as a free man, like is kind of an inherently problematic, like that's problematic to hear your partner say that. But then like they come and crash the party and like we're actually just gonna throw one big party. Y'all ready? We're all gonna party. Like he's kind of fun.
He has that great line. Well, because he says, "Oh, it's my last night of freedom," and then he turns around. And he's like, "Which is what most men would say, but for me, it's this new chapter of this new thing." Yeah. So I was like, "Yeah, way to go, Sky." Yeah. Even though you're with love to the actor, like you know, Sky is not. He ain't got a lot to do. He's hanging out.
No, he's there. Even at the end when they're doing like Waterloo and they're like, we're all partying. Like he comes in at the very end in the brightest pink jumpsuit. And I'm like, did they CGI? Was he supposed to be in it? They just cropped him out.
The wedding is kind of non-important a little bit. It's a bit of the, it's like it happened because Sky is like,
it's the rabbit's foot.
It's the rabbit's foot. It's when he's like, I don't believe like when he's like, you invited you did the big wedding just so you could invite your dads. And she's like, no. And it's did. Like maybe a little, you should have told him.
She should have told him. Abby said that like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. She was like, he doesn't know. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be great. Watch.
it's like, I understand the dramatic. I'm like not like critiquing that, but like, I do think the wedding is just kind of a means for the dad thing to happen. It's
a little bit
like, you know, the wedding, it happens and then they're just kind of like all hanging out while and then the wedding happens and then we do the wedding, then we don't do the wedding.
Very
then we
like
do the
drowsy chaperone. Like we're all here, we're doing thing, but we're really just kind of like hanging out with different actors doing their thing, which is their shticks.
Yeah, like that's not a critique. That's me it's just looking like, at the movie that I'm like, yeah, like we're the wedding is so we could explore the dads.
There are no critiques in this podcast, just observations.
Yes, absolutely. No, because again, I like this movie.
Except when we were doing Fantastic Four. Fuck no.
But I can't wait for the new one. Really,
Mamma Mia 3.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
Mamma 3.
Mamma 3.
First steps. But I will say, I think I like the younger cast. Like, it's Dominic West or Cooper? It's Cooper, right?
Dominic Cooper. I think Dominic West is a older.
He's a different guy.
He's also British, but he's I think
this is
more
Howard
classically
Stark,
British.
For those who maybe he's Howard Stark in First Avenger,
he's the first Captain America,
and Agent Carter and stuff like that. Yeah. But him, Amanda Seyfried, I think they're great. But I think the movies are stolen by the older cast.
No, it is. They hijacked that.
They're
movie.
The best part.
I feel like that's part of it. Like they really are like the actual main characters of this one, and it's like it's supposed to be Amanda Seyfried's movie, but it's really not. Like,
yeah,
and like for me, like watching like Meryl Streep and is it Julia Walters?
Julie Waters.
Waters,
I believe.
Okay, I thought it was Walters or something.
But, and then Christine Baranski,
iconic. She's incredible. She's in Chicago and she's also in The Grinch.
She's in The Grinch. And Julie Waters, obviously, Mrs. Weasley.
Yes, Mrs. Weasley. Yeah. Those three are like my all-time favorites.
Agreed.
They're so fun to watch. I would watch a mini series of those three just tearing it up. Like
at the end of the movie when Julie Waters and Stellan Skarsgård are chatting together, I turned to Laura and I said, I don't want Mamma Mia 3. I want to spin off of them.
Yes.
Like I was like, they're so fun. Like I just want to see them, or I want to see Julie Waters and Christine Baranski like on their own. Like I want to see like Lion King 1.5 with the two of them.
I was going to say, I would take that. For the second one, the recast for the younger versions of those two are particularly impressive.
Really good.
Really good. So I was going to say, you really want to do a Lion King 1.5. Those two, I think, could pull it off.
I'd love to see that, man. I think that would be great. But yeah, I think, like, obviously, Pierce Brosnan is, like, one of the hottest men on the planet. He's so great.
He's great.
Colin Firth, a certified cutie.
Doesn't he sound like a little bird when he sings?
He does.
He's kind of like, I can still recall.
When he's
last summer, like I just see like a little like Looney Tunes looking bird. Like
when he's in, I think it is in Voulez-Vous or it's Man After Midnight. When he's in the white button up that's half buttoned, he's got the mask on his forehead.
Like, I'll be that.
He's drunk and he's like swinging his head. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Stellan Skarsgård is wonderful.
How do you feel about his tattoos?
I think they're hilarious.
The other ones.
That's what I was referring to. No, he's. Bill, I think. Do you have a favorite of the guys? Bill, Harry, or Sam?
For me, it's Bill. Well, it's a tough one. Like I love all of them, especially Pierce Brosnan. Like he's one of my favorite James Bonds.
Sure.
Like
great Dr. Fate.
Great. I still haven't seen him, but like
really good.
Rip
dude.
to that.
Really good Dr. Fate.
Like it makes I kind of have like I'm kind of protesting that movie because he was such a good choice for Dr. Fate. To put him in that movie and we're not going to get any more of that is a fucking crime for me.
When that Variety article came out and it was like Pierce Brosnan will play Dr. Fate, I was like, all right, I'm seeing that movie. I was like, you've acquired my ticket.
Casting. No, I think Pierce Brosnan is so like, it is funny that he's not like actually like a singer, but he's like, he's just in there like hanging in there with everyone.
He's doing his best.
And it's like, it's so charming to me that I love everything he's doing. But I do think Bill is actually my favorite.
Bill is
just because he's like,
too.
I'm a lone wolf.
Bill is like a spark plug. That guy is wild. Like,
he is just running around like what's his face? What's the writer guy? Johnny Depp plays him in
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, he's very Hunter S. Thompson. Like, I'm out here on a boat and as a 20-year-old hookup, I'll come back and see what's going on. Maybe just like
they are my favorite parts of the movie. The movie really clicks for me whenever they're around.
Yeah, when they're in it,
which is a good thing because they're in it a lot.
They are in a lot, which I think is kind of part of what hurts the second movie is that a lot of your favorite characters aren't really together.
I understand that.
It's a little bit like Force Awakens, where you're kind of waiting for like the band to get back together, and they don't come back together until.
I will say, I think
if ever, like
I've got notes. I told you I've got receipts.
You've got receipts.
We're gonna bring it up.
I know.
No. But I do think they're having so much fun. Obviously, again, they were partying while they were making this movie.
They were.
Laura, by the time the credits rolled, Laura was like, so we're going to run into the second movie? And I was like, wait, I have to wait till Meryl Streep, like, drunkenly, like, shouts at the front of the camera. Like,
are you ready for another one?
I say that wonderfully. Like,
it's so fun.
I endorse it.
It's just a concert number at the end.
It's great when she's saying, are you ready for another one? And the camera is clearly like, oh, shit. Like,
they're like, oh, shit, get ready for one more.
Trying to keep up with her. It's so great.
Nail that focus. All the ACs are, like, scrambling.
I want Donna and the Dynamos to play My Wedding.
Yeah.
I have that as a note.
Hell yeah.
I would love that.
We can make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll bring him on a helicopter dramatically at the end.
I would be into that. With Cher?
With Cher. Just a Hail Mary at the end.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think the movie is in the best form. It is shenanigans. Like,
it is shenanigans. It's very like, not mistaken identity, but it's that like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And everyone trying to kind of lock in to figure that out. Like, it's got a very light
I do think
plot,
the
if any.
it does not have much of a plot.
No,
I
it
think,
doesn't.
Well, because again, we've talked about like money is or that number where she's like, oh, like I just need money to help me, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
and I feel like we don't really see that through. Like Brosnan and them getting together, I suppose.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm an architect with money, like I'll make it happen kind of thing.
But I feel like
kind of gets it, but
the movie doesn't really.
No, but this is kind of the problem with jukebox musicals in general, is that it's very hard to actually write a plot because you're reliant on the lyrics of the song to figure out those elements. Like there's American Idiot, the Green Day musical, like has a, I haven't seen it, but I've listened to that album. It's a very cool album and the arrangements are really fun. But yeah, like there's no plot. Like we're really like asking a lot to get from, like, all the space in between each song is just us like scrambling to get to the next song, and that is like sort of the problem with it. But also that's like, we are just here to listen to ABBA at the end of the day, I guess. Which is, I guess, all that's required. But I see some of the criticisms for this first one, I guess.
Which is, again, like, I think there are,
but they're wrong.
No, well, this is the thing is like, and I think some people will be very upset that I'm relating these movies to this series, but like, I was thinking about them, and I was thinking about movies like Fast and Furious or whatever, where they're like in the sense that like
you needed John Cena to show up.
That'd be nuts.
Okay, hear me
Ricky
out.
Stanicki.
Here, this is probably better suited for a conversation at the end, but Pierce Brosnan says he has 2 sons.
Yeah. Who would it be?
I guess one of them could be John Cena.
It should be like it should be like Sam Clayton. Like it should be like a guy you would expect to play Brosnan's
someone
son,
who could have been young Pierce
John
Brosnan.
Cena.
And John Cena. They're like, oh god, it's my brother, and they're like, what's wrong with him? Is he like mean? They're like, no, he's awesome. And
should.
Like,
the whole thing, it should be that Cena also missed the boat, but he decided that he's just gonna swim.
He's just
cuts to him Hasselhoffing his way.
It's just the end of SpongeBob.
I'm into that.
He's just rocketing like a speedboat across.
That greenlights the movie for me. I think that nails it.
If that's not the third one, I don't know.
That's really great. But I think what were we just chatting about?
We were talking about, let's see, the boys. Pierce Brosnan's hanging in there. We were talking a little bit about jukebox musicals and how they're kind of hard to string together. Another very good jukebox musical is Moulin Rouge. For example, but that one does like a lot of stuff. That's going on. But that one is more of like I mean it's Baz Luhrmann. So
Moulin Rouge is if this movie is an experience, like that one is like experience like in
I think the movie's like if you ever wanted to like experience cocaine without actually having to do it. I feel like watching the first half of Moulin Rouge is close.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Dude, that second half of Moulin Rouge is maybe I don't say any
genius.
It's like I enjoy the first half. It's a lot. Like just to witness.
I love Moulin Rouge. I don't enjoy the first half because I get motion sickness.
But yes, that's kind of where I get motion sickness.
It is cut so fast.
The second
so
half
furious.
of Moulin Rouge might be the greatest movie ever made.
No, it is. The second one is like
so
ending,
good.
And you're just like Danny DeVito and Sonny. You're like, I get it.
Dude, like the amount of times I am driving home from work and the Roxanne comes on and I turn it all the way up and I am just like, oh my god, it's so good.
That's amazing.
But I think I think this movie. Oh, excuse me, like the Fast and Furious thing, where I'm like, there are movies where like they are experiences, they are movies to have fun, and this is not me talking down in any way, but I think the movie, it like there are movies that are interested in one kind of thing, there are movies that are interested in another kind of thing, and this is one where I'm like, yeah, man, like this is the movie to have fun. Obviously, this is a podcast where we're analyzing the movies and we're kind of, going into them and kind of like, looking through the ingredients and seeing what is good for the palate and what isn't or whatever. Like, but in general, it's like this movie, like, I sit here being like, oh, like I think 2 is, more effective or blah, 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 blah. But like, if I'm out or if I'm anywhere and like someone's like, you want to watch Mamma Mia? Like, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah.
I think it's a
perfect movie to just throw on. I think you said like with friends when you have
it's the
people
best
over,
movie with friends.
It's a good put on movie. I just enjoy watching it. Too. It's a movie to me that just doesn't get old.
Sure.
I've rewatched it like probably like 35 times now. since it's come out.
The joke we talked about, like the chorus, the fates. There is that joke where, and I will back the mic up for this bit, but when they're like, it must be some twisted thing of fate, and all the townspeople go,
this is the part where we throw our heads back and laugh.
Literally, and then everyone kind of like looks at them like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, and they're like, no, who us?
Love that.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's a thing I'm missing from the second one a little bit. Like,
sure, I see that.
I guess, do we want to get into 2? I feel like we're kind of jumping around a little bit. I mean, we don't have to, but
we can get around with. I mean,
it's kind of hard not to talk about both of them at the same time. I feel like, because I mean, they reuse a lot of the music. They're kind of doing slightly different things.
Before we talk about 2, to answer the question, you're getting out 2008. You're doing the Barbenheimer. You've seen The Dark Knight. You've now witnessed Mamma Mia. Like you're walking out. Do you need one more?
Coming out of the first one.
Yes.
Well, so I didn't get to see it in theaters. I saw it on DVD.
We
got coming soon to DVD. No, it's like funny. We had like this is back when Netflix was just discs.
Yeah,
and we had to mail them.
The mail.
Yeah, I was like in charge of that shit. I had like a queue and everything, and I'd be like adding movies.
Matrix
and
code.
No, I was like Tom Cruise in The Minority Report, like swiping and like dialing, watching trailers, trying to figure out what we could watch next.
Wonderful.
But so yeah, coming out of that first one, it's like it's so much fun. Like you kind of go like, I would want another one, but this story feels so like contained. Narratively speaking, I don't feel there is enough runway to do a second one. I have kind of felt, even though I love it and I'm like, a chance to return to the island sounds amazing, I am like, well, what do you do with it? Is like the big question. And I
completely agree.
To answer that, I'm a no.
I am also a no.
Meta, having now seen the second
one.
Yeah,
hindsight.
But
and again, like, it's like, I like the second one. Like, I'm glad that not glad that it exists, but I think it does a good job, like, trying to exist, being a sequel to a movie that I think doesn't need a sequel.
Yeah, it's tough.
And
the second one hits me in a really funky way, because I am very biased, but like, they retcon a couple things that make, and there's just a lot of things that make me go like, why that though? Like,
so the big one, and this is why I really wanted to say, like, do we need one more? It's like, I don't think we did. I know that the feeling of it's that thing where you're like, I want to go back to that feeling, right?
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to ask of any series.
Yeah.
But I think for this movie to exist, like, and this is a conversation that I had with a friend, with the friend that I just referenced. I think in order to make a sequel, you do kind of have to like kill Meryl, which is what that movie does. Like, you kind of have to create. I don't know what the story is. It kind of makes something seismic doesn't happen.
I kind of feel that, but I feel like because Donna Sheridan is such this like ethereal girl who got away, like the guys describe her like she's the wind.
Yeah.
And it's like going back to see her origin story.
Aphrodite.
Yeah, like Aphrodite, like she feels sort of like a personification of that in a way. It's like, it's kind of like, it's sort of like we're running into like the Indiana Jones problem, I think, a little bit. Like, it's kind of, I can't see anyone but Meryl in the role. Mm-hmm. And even though it is Lily James, right?
James,
that's which Lily we have in this one?
That's the right one, yeah.
Who's great. And I love in everything I've ever seen her in.
Yeah.
And I think she does a pretty good job in this movie, even though she looks nothing like Meryl.
Sure.
It's like, it's kind of big shoes to fill.
Totally.
And I don't know if I share this with any other Mamma Mia fan out there, but it's like weird for me to have such a seismic, elusive character die and then to actually go witness the story that we've already been told. It's a little like answering what's in the suitcase in Pulp Fiction. It's like, I kind of like imagining it more than seeing it, because I feel like even though they're doing a better job justifying the songs narratively speaking, there's something really uninteresting about watching all that unfold somehow. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what is happening there for me. Like, they're doing like technically more impressive numbers and they have like more going on, but there's something about the way they've written it where I'm like, I don't really get why she falls in love with Sam. I'm not really sure like how she evolves into the Donna that we know and love.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like the thing of like, Donna just doesn't feel like someone who can die. So like, it's to me, because Mamma Mia is so like kind of big ethereal and musical, this one being kind of sad and like a funeral almost. Like this movie feels like the movie you would make if Meryl Streep had actually died.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the way that Black Panther 2 is trying to write around the fact that Chadwick Boseman passed too early. To me, having her be alive and actually show up in the movie is like, well, why isn't she just in the movie? And it's like that weird thing of like, I know it's like we're trying to live up to Donna's legacy, but like one of my favorite characters is Donna. So it's like there's this huge hole in this second one that they're trying to fill with Lily James, and I don't think she quite does it. For me at least.
Sure. And I totally hear that. I think where the movie clicks, I think, again, this is not me being like, Mamma Mia, here we go again, secret masterpiece. I certainly don't think that. I like to give it away. Like out of 5, like I've it at 3.5. I think it's like kind of effective, but I think it's missing stuff. I think some of the casting for the younger characters are really solid. I actually think basically all of them with one exception. I think, and this is, I'm not disrespecting any actors. I think young.
He's about to disrespect everyone.
I promise you, I'm not.
He's about to disrespect. Get ready in the comments. Get ready in the comments.
I think young Brosnan doesn't really work for me.
No, I think he's particularly weak. I don't really like young Bill though either. I think Harry's really good casting.
Spot the fuck on. Also the smallest leather jacket I've ever seen.
Smallest leather jacket, but one of the funniest jokes to me is that he's Harry the headbanger, and they don't do anything with that in this, which annoys me. It also part of the movie is that he was he's wearing it and he's wearing the t-shirt that he references, but I don't see him like headbanging ever in the one number that he's in. And it's like, also it's like, it's weird that their romance is in France right before they get to the island, because the way the story is told in the first one is that Pierce Brosnan showed her the island, they had a whole romance, and then she rebounded with Bill, and then Harry was just at the end of that. And so I get like maybe moving him first, but
I think that still clicks. I feel like
it's like it doesn't like ruin that continuity for me, but the fact that she's like already on the island when she meets Sam too is like weird, because like part of their relationship and part of their connection to the island is that like he was going there and he showed her, and so it's weird to take that away from him.
I don't know if it
a little bit, because he just shows up in the storm.
Yeah, but he does kind of. I mean, their relationship is like exclusively on the island, basically, right? That he is still technically showing that.
It is, but like they say that he like showed it to her, and like that he wanted to build a hotel, and then she does it without him. Is like, it's kind of weird that they write him out of that part of the story a little bit.
I'm trying to remember the scene in the first one where they say that he like wanted to build the hotel. I know that he
said he drew up because he's an architect. He drew the plans for the hotel that the first movie takes place on the back of like a menu. And he doesn't do that in this movie.
Yeah.
At all.
I get that.
Like, and so it's like weird where I'm like, there was all these like romantic things they talked about in the first movie, and then he doesn't do any of them in this. No, he's just there and they stare at each other longingly, and then there's a huge betrayal. So it's just sort of like they're kind of rushing through it in a really slow way.
The Brosnan thing doesn't really work for me. I think the numbers are almost on the whole a lot better. I think in terms of their staging, I think they're far more intentional.
It is more intentional. There's a little bit more going on, but
I think Waterloo is a lot of fun. I also think a lot of fun. It being this metaphor of him being like, I've never been with anybody. This is my Waterloo. Like, just come with me. Like, kind of thing. Like, will you do this? And obviously, we set it around a French restaurant. This is jumping forward in Dancing Queen. When that guy flips off the boat onto the dock, it's he's on the top of the boat, and he like front flips. He like triple front flips and lands clean on his feet.
In the second one, right?
In the second one.
Oh, I think I missed this.
It's great. I love seeing Bill and Harry doing Titanic. I think
that's
fun.
I see that when the boats show up, I think it's awesome because it feels more like Mamma Mia again.
So
I feel like for me, this has like that Mission Impossible 2 thing where it's like, this doesn't feel like the right series up until that moment, and then it feels like when the Mission Impossible theme kicks in a little bit for me.
This is because you were talking about Donna being this kind of ethereal,
it kind of
like
feels
the
like,
wind.
Yeah.
My take on this movie, what I feel is that, because obviously, it is about the passing of Donna, and it is about the reopening of the Hotel Belladonna, that it's named after her. And I think the movie is essentially them being about the people that Donna met and how basically everyone, how she affected them and how they like basically changed their lives in the past, right, with her love, but now in the present with her daughter. And then we also continue that on into the next generation, right?
Yeah.
And I think keeping her as again, as like you said, ethereal, as a figure, as this person of them all coming together, which is where I think the Brosnan moment really works, is of him sitting to himself, sending an SOS, being like, I need you and I don't have you anymore, and all this other stuff. And everyone kind of being focused on business after her death, right? That it's like Sky is gone, Bill is getting an award, Harry's in Japan, and everyone's gone back. And they have all this moment, which I don't think the movie hits super hard on the head. I think they do it better with Bill and Harry. I don't think it happens very well with Sky.
Sky just returns.
Sky
again.
kind of as kind of a non-character in both of these movies.
He could almost not be in the movie almost,
but
which would maybe be a stronger choice in a lot of ways.
Where I think
if you're going this route, like
I also think his reveal when Harry falls over, I think that's the wrong time to reveal him.
Yeah.
I think in Dancing Queen when he shows up, I'm like, put him. Let that be.
No,
his
that's
return.
the moment. But
that's
it's
the
like
moment.
Because like I think this movie kind of is hard because I think there's a lot of things that they're doing that work on paper. But like for me, I would have preferred a fake out that like you think Donna's dead, and then like in the moment when they all come in the Dancing Queen, she's like at the bow being like, "I'm back, bitches, I can't die." But like I also see that that's like really cheesy and kind of like,
well, I like
we've done stuff like that before, but it's just like I don't know, like because like they set up this like she's been dead a year.
Yeah.
So the reminiscing is really the timing of this is really odd. I know it's because of the hotel, but like it almost would work better for me if this was her funeral.
Well, I think
but like no one wants that in a Mamma Mia movie. But then it's like, why does the movie feel like a funeral anyway? Like,
well, I think it's because these people haven't properly celebrated her. I think is the idea is that everyone has kind of avoided it. That the hotel reopening is all about. They're like, we're gonna have millionaires here. We're gonna have people to invest. Like that's what we're focused on. And then
they've all kind of lost their way. And
they've all been focused
to return
exactly. And it's like Donna when she goes to stay at the hotel. Like they're all like in the flashback. When they're like, oh yeah, like Donna's gonna leave, like we're all, like we're not staying on this island, and the woman, I don't know the character's name, I can't recall it, but she's like, I have that place that you were looking at, like if you want it, like and you want to stay there, it's yours. And she like has this kid, and she's like, I'm choosing the non-financial thing to live, this life with this child. And there's that thing Amanda Seyfried says that it's like she wasn't scared, she knew that she had people, she knew that she had me, and all this other stuff. And I think Dancing Queen, that moment when that hits, especially because the movie sets up earlier that Brosnan calls her, she was our dancing queen, that is
missed that beat.
Literally it's right before SOS that he is like he's like nurturing Amanda Seyfried.
I must have been writing a note.
He says like, I miss her too, our dancing queen. And then he does SOS. And so when we get to Dancing Queen, that is all the people that Donna had been touched are now reconvening on the island. It's also like super bright and there's colorful and people are doing flips.
It kind of returns to like it's now Mamma Mia. Okay, well, it kind of works, but I think that's what I'm missing for an hour. I think the movie's too long for me too. I think
it's like
almost
20
2 hours.
minutes longer.
It's like 20 minutes longer, but it should probably be about the same length.
I would agree.
I feel like a lot of the flashback stuff is it feels really slow.
I think the second half is better than the first half because I just think it's the general emotional catharsis.
And one of the things I'm missing too is like she has the journal, and it's interesting to me that like Amanda Seyfried finds out she's pregnant like after Dancing Queen, like after the big return. Like that's an interesting space to put that because I feel like it would be more interesting of like, I just had a breakup. I miss my mom. This hotel is stressing me out. Also, I'm pregnant and I feel totally abandoned right now. And to have her like read her, like the diary of that year feels like it would set that up, but it's just crossfading back and forth whenever it feels right.
Sure,
and so
I
it's
get
like,
that.
I'm kind of bummed that they didn't like narratively like put her in the exact like space that Donna basically was, and sort of being like, how did my mom do it? Like, because that's sort of what the movie's asking you to do.
I think
a little bit, and it's kind of doing that, but it's like, it's just weird that like it is just, we're just gonna Godfather Part 2 this back and forth when they have a plot device from the first movie they could be using.
I do think
because like seeing Sophie like 10 years later rereading the journal she read like on that fateful day and sort of recontextualizing all the details now that she's older is really interesting to me. But that's not really what's happening in this story. It's sort of like meta. We, the audience, are learning it, and everyone else is stuck in their own shit. And it's like weird that it's like it kind of feels like we're reminiscing, but she herself does not actually feel like mechanically speaking is not technically reminiscing.
So I think framing it around the Notebook would be effective. I think the way that I have interpreted that is that it is the feeling of, and obviously I cannot speak to this, but it's like it's the feeling of when you get pregnant, that the idea that she's like, my mom was scared, my mom was heartbroken, my mom found she had me, and she knew that she now had like a partner, that she knew that she had someone. And I think, and then it's more of what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like an unsaid understanding that when she's like, now that I'm having this baby, I'm thinking about this future. Like I've been so focused on the opening of the hotel and making millions and all this stuff. This thing has come. It's completely blindsided my life, much like how Donna's pregnancy has blindsided her life.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That now, but I get it now. I get where she emotionally kind of a thing.
Yeah, that I'll never be as long as I have this kid.
And I think saving Meryl for that final scene,
baptism kind of moment,
I think is great. Of like having one, I think this movie's having a ton of fun with transitions. I think when Sky and Sophie are across and the camera's going, I love all that. I think it's very fun. And then doing it again with the holy water, I think is really nice. And having Meryl just sell the fuck out of that.
Is that the same song or is it a different one?
Different song.
Different song, right? Okay.
But that she's sitting there and she's basically from the afterlife, right? That she's looking at her daughter and that she's seeing, I can't remember the name of the song. I have it in my notes. I'm going to pull it up. I promise I'm going to pull it up. I may be
too late. We all died.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't promise well enough.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna make. Oh, go ahead. No, you found it. You lied.
Yeah, I totally lied. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say there was one moment though that I want to talk about. There's a moment where Pierce Brosnan, when he's doing his SOS, which I really like the way that gets recontextualized, where he's sort of mourning and he's missing her. I really like that moment. But he opens up like a photo that you see him take later in the flashback. But when you see it take it, and it is like the crispest.
It's so
nice. That is like shot on like the brand newest Sony.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, that is not a photo from the 70s.
I completely agree.
That's actually, I think that distracted me a little bit from everything. Is that this movie, even though it's got flashbacks set in 79. No one feels like they're from the 70s.
No, I agree. I think it needs to
Everyone
do more.
has iPhone face. The movie, like, it's just... And I say that with love, because, like, Lily James is really great, but, like...
Young Bill doesn't have iPhone face. I'll give that.
He doesn't, but
he looks like a guy
I don't buy him as young Bill. Like, there's something too clean about him. And, like, Bill feels like he really was, like, I was born and raised on a boat.
Sure.
Like, the minute I could walk, I left home. Like,
sure.
And this guy feels like he's like... Yeah, I just dropped out of college. Like, and
I get you.
That's not how he's written, but that's what that actor has unfortunately brought to the character for me.
Gotcha.
And I don't mean that as like a criticism, because I haven't seen that guy in a lot of things, and I think he's fine in this. But there's that swashbuckling Jack Sparrow thing that Stellan Skarsgård just has.
Sure.
That this guy is just missing.
Yeah, it's the who the fuck are you? Like
it's like kind of like weird. Like, I don't know, like there's something about him, like I like because he takes her to the island, which is weird because it's like they say in the first movie, like Pierce Brosnan is the one who took her to the island, so it's weird having him take. So there's a lot of like changes in this that I don't like or buy, and the one that really gets me, and I love her to bits. Cher is 3 years older than Meryl Streep. How the fuck is she her mom?
Can I say something?
Do it.
I don't give a shit.
No, but I'm just like, why isn't,
I get it.
Why isn't she just her sister, though? Like, I don't know why she has to be grandma. And I know they set that all up, but like,
I think
if you're going to do Cher, like, it's weird to have Donna be dead and then her like grandma's still alive though, and a strange grandma. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like something to me feels like the story should have been written of like, I had this whole thing with my mom and she died and my sister had a falling out, and then if Cher's her sister, she comes back and it's sort of like cleanses this old family wound,
I think,
kind of thing. Like I just don't know why it has to be Grandma Cher.
Well, I think it's because of it's the theme of of generations, that it's Cher to Meryl to Amanda Seyfried and now to this new child. The age thing, sure. I mean,
it's just odd to me. I'm like, it's like if Dolly Parton had showed up, I'd be like, okay, I buy that a little bit more. But like, it's just like Cher is basically the same age.
I see that.
So it's like, I don't know. I would have preferred to just like it's the sister who is sort of filling in as the. I guess it's again. This is like funny because I'm like the first one's so big and broad, and a lot of it is just kind of fuck it. So it is interesting that it just doesn't work for me in this one. I think it is because this movie isn't very fuck it for so much of it. It is weird that it, like in like the final 20 minutes that they're Hail Mary, Cher shows up looking like Lady Gaga.
Well, I think my like in the fuck it energy of the first movie, like where I talk about the numbers and stuff, like my thing, I'm like, okay, listen, if you're not gonna do this, like, what is your reason for doing it? I feel like I don't understand why they're not doing the numbers, other than the fact that they're just like they aren't choreographing them, because I feel like they almost try to do it a couple times and they don't do it. So I'm like, okay, you're bringing Cher into this movie. Why are you doing that? It's like, well, so Cher can sing Fernando as a love ballad / duet with Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Yeah, you've justified that pretty well for me. I guess that makes sense.
I guess. I don't know. I'd have to look at the lyrics, but I'm like, I don't know. Name the baby Fernando and then make it like that, I guess. But like,
well,
I guess
there was something in the air that night, the stars, that it's like we had this whole night of love, Fernando.
I don't know. It's just like that. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting like choice, I guess. Like, and this is, I go back to the first, I'm like, why isn't Sky's name Fernando? Like,
yeah, it is interesting that they don't.
I've read in the trivia, like in the first movie, like because Fernando's like one of ABBA's like big hits,
sure.
And they really struggle to figure out how to get it in the first movie. And I'm like, if the kid's name is Sky and he comes back, you can finally do like. And I guess this is just that thing of like, if you were struggling to get this justified in the first movie, but like, had his name been there, you could have just done it, or like. Why isn't Pierce Brosnan named Fernando? Like, there's like 5 people who could just be named Fernando. Problem solved. But like,
I will say,
it's Sam, Bill, and Harry.
I'm glad that we saved Fernando for this, because Christine Baranski gets 2 incredible reactions to Fernando and then to Fernando's brother. That it's she sees Fernando, she says, "Be still, my beating vagina," which is nuts.
I forgot she said that.
And then it's a fucking insane line.
Get it, girl.
And then when his brother shows up, she says, "God, I hope his wife is dead."
I didn't look this up, but was that our guy from fucking Mission Impossible 2? Is that the Dos Equis guy?
Is it literally?
This time it was the Dos Equis man.
Wait, we need to look this up.
This is making it more fun that we broke up Mission Impossible with Mamma Mia, because we're finding ways to throw back and I wasn't prepared for. I feel like we're teaching a college lecture on how to do sequels. It is?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Mamma Mia, here we go again.
Mamma Mia. Confirmed here by our producer Dish. Oh my God, I have to see it to believe it. I want to... Hold on.
We're all like Googling furiously, ready to...
We all are... Yeah, Jonathan Goldsmith, brother. Oh my God, there he is.
Dang.
That is him. That is the most interesting man.
That's so funny.
Great cameo.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, but obviously, yeah.
That's so funny.
She says, like, those reactions are perfect.
No,
she nails them.
I really like
easy.
the last third of the second one. I really just, the setup doesn't work for me. But I conceptually agree with you. I feel like the choices are stronger, but I don't think they stick the landing strong enough.
What I love
for me to care.
Going to Dancing Queen is Dancing Queen is the midpoint. That's 50 in the second one.
Yeah. Wait.
It's 57, 59 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's the midpoint.
Okay, this movie really drags for me a lot.
I think the first half is weaker than the second half.
It is just like, it's weird that like we're gonna like tell it, and like part of me wishes there was just sort of different setups for what we're about to watch. Like I don't want to like rewrite the movie because it's kind of pointless, but like I don't know. Part of me feels like it would be more fun to have seen like Meryl like right after the breakup with Sam, talking to her friends like you do, like not like, I guess if we get too like Inception-y, I guess, in the timeline if you do that, but like, because I think they are trying to do like a Godfather 1 and 2 kind of thing. So I guess it just doesn't work, but it's just like, I feel like watching her go through a story I've already heard, all the changes they do just make me go, what the fuck?
Sure.
Like, it's like, if you're going to show me the story of how everyone fell in love with the island, the story I've heard 1,000 times because I'm obsessed with this movie, please do the story. These changes are really distracting, even though it's like it creates like what should be better narrative. It's like I'm fighting my like love of the first movie to be able to buy into any of these changes a little bit, and it's tough.
I will say, as we kind of mentioned earlier in the episode, the Dynamos, both young and older versions,
amazing,
incredible.
The
bit about the cake, fucking hilarious,
fucking amazing.
I like the whole when young Tanya is saying, when like Lily James is about to go out on the boat and she's like, have fun, do everything that I would do. Like, I was like, yeah. That's great. I love the bit they do the number. I can't remember the song right now, but it's with Amanda Seyfried and Christine Baranski and Julie Waters, when all the men are lifting them over the table, and then Julie Waters, nobody comes to pick her up, and then she has to like kind of finagle her way. I think is all really great. I love when she sees Stellan Skarsgård and she's like, you know, we tried to make it work and you just left. The only reason that you would do that is if you were just madly in love with somebody and you just fell hell over heels and you couldn't deal with it. So, you know, that sucks that didn't happen. I guess we're friends. And he's like, hey, he's like, you said the thing.
You said the thing.
I think all that is really fun.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie is like some secret masterpiece, but I do think it is given an impossible task.
It is. It's just like that's where I go. Like, I feel like these choices are interesting on paper, but because they don't stick the landing, I feel like they should have done something else, which is kind of a hindsight 2020 kind of thing. Because I do like the Godfather Part 1 and 2 kind of aspect of it all. Like, we're showing how she came to the island stuff, but it's just like it's kind of like watching Solo. You're just like this guy's just not Harrison Ford. It's just kind of like, it's tough.
I also think, in the sense, kind of like what you're talking about too, I think, whereas the first one is kind of stolen from Sophie's character. I think the second one is about Sophie more. I think it's about how the events of the past correlate to today.
Yeah,
I think is how it is.
I think for me, it's just like knowing they want to do a third one. This particular plot line would work better for me as a third movie, almost. Because then, I don't know, like, I feel like I kind of wanted just like another fun adventure on the island. Sure. And I don't really know how because I know they have the songs and they really are tied down by the lyrics, and so that is like very tricky. But yeah, I don't know. This is like, it's a tough sequel for me.
It's also the thing of like, and this is where I go back to saying like I feel like you have to do something like kill Meryl, because it is like, if we're
Possible.
if we're going to do it, yeah, true. She's an icon. She should never be killed. I will praise her.
Yeah, it's
forever.
like, that's just like it's just so like ethereal and mystical. It's like, no, she can't die. And it's just such a distracting thing to me. It's hard for me to like really pay attention to everything else that's going on.
I don't really see it as distracting. I get seeing it as distracting. Yeah. I think it's that thing of, if like she is ethereal, it's like, let's put that to the test. Like, let's show how she is in her absence. And I think it's that thing again. It's like, okay, well, like where one ends, and this is kind of a thing, it kind of about very prevalent to this podcast of like narrative runway, like you're talking about. Yes. It's like
very tricky
when a movie wraps up that tightly. You don't there isn't a lot of way to go.
We have
like
the setup. We know everything that happened in the past, and then this answers, like, that first one really ends with like, they will go on to other adventures, but that's not the story we're here to tell. This story really ends here. You know? And they go on to adventures, but that's not
I'm
relevant, I guess.
I'm saying in terms of like no, you're totally good.
I think I hijacked that a little.
No. I totally hear what you're saying, and where I'm looking at it is that it's like, if you're the filmmakers and you're sitting in the writer's room and you're sitting around the table and you're like, all right, we have been tasked with making Mamma Mia 2. Like, narratively, where does the story go from here? And it's like, there isn't really a way.
There's not a lot of wiggle
room for this. And so it's like, and it is like, if we're just doing another fun adventure on the island, as fun as that is, then we're just doing diminishing returns. We're just doing the silly and fun stuff. So it's like, we kind of have to offer something different, and we need to, like, spoilers, this is a big spoiler warning for something that's currently airing, so if you haven't watched Daredevil Born Again, cover your ears.
Wait, so I'm not caught up?
It's no, the very beginning.
Okay, go
of
ahead.
Daredevil Born Again. If you haven't watched episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again, click off, go watch it, come back.
I basically have like the last. Okay, hold on. Is the show wrapped up?
No.
We still have one more episode to come out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
By the time this episode comes out, it'll be over.
Okay, cool. I'm saving. I have one more episode like saved, and then I'm waiting for the last episode to just do both.
Sure, I feel it. But so with episode 1, it's the Born Again thing. It's killing Foggy. It's one of those things where it's like we wrapped it up. It's been 8 years for them. Like it's like we have to create a story. Like what is the story? And in terms of a gap, and this one too, it's like it's 2008 to 2018. I want to say it's 10 years later. Yeah. So it's like what can we do in 10 years that and I'm not saying it has to be kill Meryl.
No.
But I understand why they're like, well, we need to do something big. And so then they use that to talk about generations and legacy and all this other stuff and about how do we move forward after a loss and remembering the person as opposed like celebrating them as opposed to mourning and forgetting them.
I guess that's where I just
again,
get
I
into
don't think
like
the movie
this concept
fully,
of like
but
the generational thing of like you have Meryl as the sort of like matriarchy and then Sophia and then she has a kid in this one, but it just feels like if it's about the generational thing, then like the kid should maybe be born at the like start or something, or maybe it's about the relationship with the kid, because like Meryl's already in the like the matriarchy role of like musicals, like in the way they kind of function. So it's like interesting to like kill her and then bring in Cher like almost like a Hail Mary in the last 20 minutes. I know they reference her a lot, but it's like it's not like we get to see young Meryl arguing with Cher and see that relationship. Like we don't really know what they're like together. Okay, it's weird to bring her in the last 20 minutes and then spend a whole 10 minutes singing Fernando.
No, again, I
am in the canon of like, you know, the rule of cool and fuck it. Like I'm always here for it. But for this movie, because like I feel like that element ends up being in conflict with everything else they're doing.
I think prefacing it with I think this movie is good. I don't think it's fantastic. I think it still has some room to go. Kind of stuck.
But I agree with all the points you're making. These are very, very good points. And I totally get why they went what they're going for, but it just
because there's the line
they didn't stick the landing better.
There's the line where Sophie Amanda Seyfried says to Cher, she's like, "So Sky brought you here," and she goes, "No, Sky showed me the way. I came here." That it's like that she has that line in the end that it's that she goes that it's about again people coming together after Donna, that it's like even the mother, the grandmother who they reference, who has had such a huge falling out,
who was maybe dead until the second one.
Yeah, well that's the thing also where I was talking with our friend about it, and she's like, they say that the grandmother's dead. I'm like, that one you can be like dead to me. I don't really that doesn't bother me.
Well, you also could kind of BS it a little bit and be like, they're actually so estranged. She's just assumed her mom is dead.
Yeah, it could be that. Like it's like
that also like.
And if you're gonna stunt cast it, you throw Cher in there. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's like I love the idea of Cher as the grandmother, but it's like I love her being part of the family, but because she's only 3 years older, I'm like, I kind of wish it was the story of like her sister and stuff, and like it's sort of like we're filling this like rift in the family finally that's been there. Like I don't know, like it's just like it ends up being too distracting to me instead of being like fuck it. Like somehow like I it doesn't set me up in like I'm having and I think it is because the first 50 minutes or so like serious. Like it's a weirdly like
I think some of the numbers. I think there's a lot of fun visual gags. I love the attendant. The guy who's like, your hair, it's shorter now.
That's fun. Is that the guy from The Mummy? The guy who gets killed by the scarabs? Spoilers from The Mummy.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? The guy that like when they're hanging Brendan Fraser and they're making the deal. Do you think that's that guy?
I love that he comes back in the current day and he's got the gray and he's still just like, you guys got to fix your shit, man. Like he's like, your hair.
You look terrible. I haven't seen your passport, but I know you've aged the best. Like it's kind of funny.
When he looks at Stellan Skarsgård, he's like, your face, it's broken down. Like,
you're a holdout, man.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it is definitely the first
huge bummer that Bill isn't just played by one of his sons.
Yeah.
One of the 2 strapping famous sons right now.
I was going to say also with Stellan.
As you don't know, Stellan's sons are Alexander Skarsgård and Bill Skarsgård.
And there's another one, right?
There's a third one who roams and is in things, but I don't know his name.
I have
Trevor. I don't
maybe yeah.
Trevor Skarsgård.
But no, Stellan Skarsgård getting to play. You could tell he's having fun playing the twin.
Yeah, he is. It's just a fat guy. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That was the audacity, and then the reveal. I'm like, I guess it's a twin, but this is a really weird gag. Like to me, it's just kind of like I thought it was funny, but I'm like, this is kind of a waste of time. Like it kind of like it feels like the story grinded to a halt for that joke.
Yeah, I get that. I do like the idea that you are waiting to see, because Harry has the moment at the business meeting, right?
He does, which is like, another moment of like, it just kind of like, it's weird the way we come into those stories, because it like pacing wise slows everything down like even more than I feel like the movie is. But
I was like, I like the framing of Harry having the end of Elf, the classic like, I'm gonna go to my family, screw business.
Yeah.
And then you go to Stellan and you expect that it's gonna be a similar beat, and the idea is that it's a twin, and that Bill has already made that decision.
Yeah.
That he's driving and he's like, I can't fucking wait to see the cast of Mamma Mia.
And he's like,
yeah, that he's already like, he's like, oh no, I'm with the movie. I'm going over there too. Don't worry. I've already had that revelation.
He's like, I'm on my way.
Yeah, like I think is kind of fun that he's like, I know my, like the whole thing where he's like, don't make sure he doesn't tell the goat story. And the cut to Stellan being like, I have this story. It's really amusing. You're all going to love it. It's about a goat. Like I was like,
yeah,
fuck, dude.
That's pretty funny. It's one of those weird things though. Like I get he's like accepting an award, and it is kind of very Bill to like have his twin brother do it. But I also am like, that means like where Bill's at in his life, he sold his boat, which I just don't know if I buy. Because like
they say he sold his boat?
Well, because when they just say they missed the boat getting back. So like if he still had it, my question is like, where is? I guess I'm sort of asking right now, where is the boat? Because like, with the way this even framed it with the flashbacks, he's had that since he was a young man.
Sure.
He hangs out on that island. Like that is as much as his home as it is Meryl's. So it's like weird that he's like gone home to Sweden. I mean, it's not impossible for him to go back to Sweden.
Yeah.
But Bill feels like he would do the Han Solo thing of like, yeah, I can't be in this relationship right now, baby, but like the 7 seas is for me kind of thing. Like, so it's like weird that like his like plot wall isn't like Odysseus, the storm blew me like a couple 100 miles off the coast, and I'm coming though. I buy Harry being like, I went back to my life and I've been slogging and I don't remember everything, but like Bill doesn't feel like he would like they'd be like, you have an award, you have to come back to Sweden, you have family here, and he's just like, nah. Like I feel like he wouldn't do that, I guess. Like I just don't know if I buy that.
Sure, I can see it. I mean, I think generally the whole idea is that they're all like not wanting to go back, especially they do the fun kind of parallel with Julie Waters' character, that it's like, listen, like don't say Donna, like she's gonna break into tears, and then you have it where Julie Waters says Donna, and Stellan Skarsgård starts to cry.
Yeah.
The boat, I assume he still has.
Yeah,
I just assume
like
that
super
it's just
important because
it's such a pressing thing. He can't get there in time.
It is. It's just like, for me, it's just kind of weird that like he just doesn't have it. Like I feel like he'd show up on the island and be like, "Don't worry, Harry, we can do what we did the first time." And then they like go and they're like, "Oh, you didn't pay your dues. Like your boat's been impounded." And he's like, shit.
Sure.
Like, oh, I don't like the boat's plot walled. Like, like, which I'm fine with, but it's just like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I like, even if he had just said like, oh, like I took a plane here. I can't sail here in time. I sailed back to Sweden. Like even if it was just like that, but like the implication that he like sold it and has just been living quietly in Sweden just feels really out of character to me. Like, and I don't know that is the implication.
I was gonna say,
really,
I did not get that implication.
Really? Okay.
Personally.
That is just like,
I just
weird,
know that they're
like now they're
he's
acknowledging he has a
accepting an
mom
award.
and a twin brother, and he feels like his whole family died in that first movie. Like, and he really is just him.
Yeah,
like
I
he
don't know.
feels like he would be really estranged from them, even so. Like to even have them accepting awards on his behalf feels like kind of weird. I guess I don't know. He's such like a Jack Sparrow type to me.
Sure.
That I'm like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think
for like the story being so much about, like you said, like Donna and her legacy and how they've touched him, it's weird to start bringing up these random details that just ultimately don't matter. Like it just feels like they like wanted to put him in a fat suit. Like they had an idea for a gag, and that's the justification.
I think that
which is like, it's kind of like I'm nitpicking this like like as a mechanic when like the first movie's like, how do we get into how are we gonna do this song Waterloo in the end?
Yeah.
It's a big concert now.
Yeah,
like it is just like it is a musical, so you do just go with these things. But because this one narratively is trying harder, I kind of am scrutinizing a little bit more because it is trying.
Totally
and like
fair.
that's kind of like this weird magic trick I think the first movie pulls, is that you end up having so much fun that when shit doesn't make sense, it's sort of like you just go with it and stuff. And like the second one, it's harder for me to just go with it, I guess.
With it, of like you're saying,
I don't know. Like I am curious, like how other people who are fans of Mamma Mia respond to the second one, because it's not like this movie has a bad score.
I was gonna say,
it made money. Like there is a reason they want to do another one of these.
I have the Rotten Tomatoes for both of them. Which is
tell me, because I didn't have time. It was a busy week, guys. I was like cramming this movie in right before we started this episode. So.
These are the Rotten, because I was really curious, because Mamma Mia is a movie that, and Rotten Tomatoes is not the end all be all, right? I'm not saying that this is the Buck Stocks here, but this is a accumulation of whether or not people generally liked the movie, right? That's how to view Rotten Tomatoes. We've discussed this
real quick. We should start our own rating system based on this podcast that becomes so popular we become the standard. But like the score that comes out in the commercials,
we need one score.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's. Dish, get on the copyrights for that before we lose it.
Trademark. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Write that down.
We're just figuring this out.
But no, wouldn't it be funny, though, if we had like our own Rotten Tomato style meter that people started using casually? And then it's still like, because like Rotten Tomatoes takes like all the critic scores, and there's like the critic one and the audience. But like for ours, it's just us two.
I think it's a good idea.
The averages are always like, it's either a 20 or like 100.
Yeah.
It's the math is so bad on it.
Well, I think, Roger Ebert, the Siskel and Ebert, the thumbs up, thumbs down is pretty good.
That is pretty good. We could do that.
But so Mamma Mia is a movie that famously
the score is a one more, no more.
Yes, honestly, yeah.
Should probably add that. That'd be a good bit on this.
We should add that.
We'll do that. We'll do that for
let's do it.
We'll start it today.
So Mamma Mia is famously one of those movies that does not have a super high critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
They can go fuck themselves.
I agree, but the audience score is very interesting to me. So
tell me, I actually don't know the numbers on this.
Do you want to guess? So for Mamma Mia 1, for the first Mamma Mia 2008, what do you think the critic score is out of 100?
I'm gonna go with like a 53.
You were bang on. 55.
Oh.
Now the audience score
98.
66.
Only a 66.
66.
Really
now,
interesting.
Going to Mamma Mia, here we go again. Critic score 1 out of 100. What do you guess?
42.
80.
Really?
Dead ass. Certified fresh 80%.
I might have to watch this movie again.
This is the interesting part for me. Critic score or audience score 1 out of 100. What do you think it is?
I mean, based on this math, I feel like it's a lot lower. Is that the 43?
Also 66.
So okay, so
Mamma Mia
1 and 2 both have audience have a 66.
Have the exact same audience score.
The critics are wildly different for both movies.
It's certified fresh on Here We Go Again, and it is technically rotten 55. I'm not saying that this is like the nail
it's not, but
in
it's
coffin
a good
thing
benchmark.
But I find it interesting that critics much prefer, aggregate wise, right, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Much prefer Mamma Mia 2.
Aggregate's a big word for me, Matt. You're gonna have to explain that one.
Summarization.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you for actually explaining that. I was like, contextually, I understand what we're talking about, but I also feel like a little kid in the room where I'm like, guys, spelling what the hell's BED?
No, you're right. But
MATH. What did they mean? The scores are bad.
I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that
I'm just hearing letters and numbers.
That it's a higher critic score for 2 than 1, but it's exactly the same for audiences for both.
Yeah, see, this is I really need I need people who listen to this to chime in and write in their thoughts on this, because like I am fully aware that my opinion of these movies are fully biased. Like
which is how every movie is.
It is, but I think more than ever with any of them, especially on this show with all the episodes we've done, this one, Mamma Mia, I am very somehow. I understand. No, it's just fair. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's so fun and light. It's a quick 90 minutes. Like whenever I'm like down, that movie brings me up.
Yeah.
And to have the sequel be so
melancholic.
It's melancholic for so much of it, and it's a lot more it's a little bit more serious. It's not gritty because they are still having fun.
It's still goofy. We're doing
flashbacks
gags
and stuff.
Yeah.
But Sophie's just sad for so much of the movie.
Sure.
And it's obviously I don't want her to be light switch here we go again. Da, 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 nothing strikes me down. Like, because I know that wouldn't probably work because this is kind of a weird phase, but it is just like, to me, Mamma Mia is one of those entities that is like its function, you know,
Sure.
like it is
Totally
supposed
fair.
to be like a light and breezy, fun watch. And it's not that this movie doesn't have fun stuff, but I feel like they ended up sacrificing so much of the fun hangout atmosphere. And I don't feel like it's like really missing in a lot of this movie, pretty much up until Dancing Queen. And I guess that's kind of the point, but I guess I'm like, I don't know, like you're flashbacking to Donna who's coming to the island. I'm not feeling that atmosphere there either.
Mm-hmm.
And that is for me I will say as a criticism, I guess, of the second one, is that it's like you have a perfect plot device to maintain that, but somehow it's not landing. Or maybe I'm just really cynical about this sequel.
No, I mean, I
know,
get,
like, because it is like you said, the Waterloo number is big and stuff, but I don't know why I was just like, I don't buy it, and I don't know why I'm so like.
Well, also, did you? Well, because this is not me. Like I completely hear and resonate with your opinion on this, but
This is my Snyderverse, I think.
no, you're right.
Release the Donna cut.
But the Donna cut is hilarious. Love that.
Much like it sounds like the Donner cut, which also works.
Did you know that Meryl died?
What do you mean?
Did you know that Donna died in the second one? Like when you just watched it today.
I heard she was in it and it looked like she had died, but I was secretly hoping it was a fake out. That it was like the setup for the movie was you think she has died and then it's revealed that she's alive. But I also because I remember asking some people, and maybe even it was you, and God bless you for not actually like spoiling it, but when they're just like, yeah, she's dead in the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh,
yeah. It literally, the first thing they do is they're like, by the way, Meryl's not really in this.
It was funny because I watched it with Abby because she had never seen any of them, and she really liked the first one, and she also was not a big fan of the second one. So that was interesting that not being a super fan, sort of didn't really care for the second one. But it was like funny, like what happened. I was like, oh! And she was like, I thought you told me she like died, and I was like, well, no, I didn't know if that was like actually what happened. Like I was waiting for a thing, and now it's like. Well, it's just she's gone, like, and it's just like that, and I guess that is like part of like what you're supposed to be feeling. So it will be funny if I ever rewatch this because I'll probably be able to like appreciate it a little bit more. But it's like it's kind of hard because Donna is one of my favorite parts of the movie, so it's kind of like doing a Batman sequel without Batman.
Sure, I understand that.
Batman Returns.
No, I think. See, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, it's like you're like this is all good, but where's Batman?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, where's Donna? And it's like that is kind of what everyone's doing in the movie. So like in that regard, I am being like thrown in with the characters in a very clever kind of way. But
I will say, if Batman Returns was about how Batman has impacted Gotham and not about what a weird little freak Oswald Cobblepot is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Batman Returns is like, Batman's not really in this because we want to talk about Oswald Cobblepot. It's like, Donna is a presence in the movie despite Meryl's absence. And I do think it is.
And she does come in at the very end, but it's like, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of things I just wish that were done a little differently to help me digest it better. And this is so like just for me, like again, with those audience scores you just read it off, I'm like, I really don't know that anyone else is having
I'm gonna be honest,
the same issues with this movie that I am, but
I didn't know that those were the scores either, because I've always been of the feeling where whenever I say to people, I'm like, I actually think 2 is maybe a more interesting movie than 1 is.
Yeah.
People are always like, what the fuck are you like? Which I understand.
Darth Vader,
literally.
Like, you're like,
I'm like, oh shit, oh I'm sorry, like kind of a thing. Which again, I love 1.
We're gonna have to post a meme of Darth Vader like choking the one guy out, and it's you like, it's technically got better choreography.
There's nothing to do downtown.
I'm like, Donna was alive. Donna was alive.
Like whenever, so like, you know, my experience is always saying that and people being like, what the fuck did you just say? Which I understand, because Mamma Mia is like a cultural, like it is like it is like the wind. It is ethereal.
Yeah,
she's
like Aphrodite, you know, and she goes on her own little like thing, and so it's like I guess for me, it really was like hard. It's a weird place to start the movie. I know we haven't really talked plot. We really have like
we kind of went through it.
Kind of have, but the setup is like they have the hotel. They're reopening in this grand renaming of the Belladonna, which I think is a great touch. I totally buy that this is how Sophie would respond to that. But it's interesting that I, as an audience member, am learning about Donna's death like a year after it's happened.
Sure.
And it's like it's kind of hard to digest it in the moment, and it's almost like it almost would be easier if it had been like Sophie, sit down, like kind of thing, or like, and that feels like out of tune with the DNA of what Mamma Mia is. So it's like I kind of get it, but it's just like everyone else has like enough. All the characters actually have like grieving time off screen, and coming into this, they get to finally like move on from that grief and celebrate life and stuff, which I really like conceptually, all these ideas. But coming in as an audience member who loves the first one, it's like, where is she?
No, I get that.
You're hiding her. Tell me she's alive.
I feel
like I am just like Darth Vader coming into this at the very end.
Is Padme all right?
Like, it seems in your obsession, they killed her.
In your rendition of Dancing Queen, they killed her.
Yeah.
No, but I get that. I feel like it is, and you know, intention and effect. You know, like I feel like it is supposed to be kind of a hard like it's meant to take you by surprise, because they do kind of are like, yeah, she would have loved this. Turn to her photo on the wall.
Yeah, like another HD crisp ass photo.
Yeah, there are
that's
a lot
photoshopped. I'm like,
I will say I do appreciate that this movie is kind of, as we wrap up, I do appreciate that this is like a vibrant movie, but it's not like blindingly vibrant. Like I feel like I think it is more like it is not. I have multiple times on my notes. I have like groundbreaking, not groundbreaking, but effective is kind of the way that I view it. Where I'm like, we aren't like doing the most visually interesting things, but it is pretty effective visuals, and I am like identifying its goals and its intent. I do love the shot of the dynamos with the cucumber on their ears, and we're in the top down shot. I think that like staging is really nice.
I feel like color palette wise, I wish they had gone for a more like 70s look to it, like, because like,
I think in the past, yes, 100%.
Yeah, just because it's like that, like if
Little Women,
like the I mean, because the aesthetic of this, like the poster is like really iconic, the blue, like going back, like the 70s photography has like such like a warm orangey kind of quality that, like, why not just like invert the like color scheme and go with like a predominantly orange color palette?
Sure.
In the flashbacks, that way when you jump back, like you also have that, but it's like the present day also looks like the past, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for Donna to pull out a cell phone in the stuff. So it's like that also is like just kind of,
well, especially because
a bummer, like that,
we're
like with all these other, like, again, like you said, I know I'm like really like down on this movie, but like these are really creative choices, and they do make a lot of sense. But it's like, why not also do that? Like why are we doing a more silvery blue kind of color palette? And I guess it is just like I feel like the other one was, I feel like the first one was shot on film probably, but I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
The movie's got like a grain to it, and maybe that's just part of their post-production. They could have shot it digitally. It's only 2008, but I know we're in 2008's like that weird switch over to like going predominantly digital.
Yeah, original Mamma Mia is shot on film.
Okay, that explains it. So like we're shooting probably on like an RE Alexa for this one, so it's just like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna be doing all these fun things, I don't know. It's just like the flashback stuff doesn't feel as fun as they want. Like it doesn't feel as fun as they think they want it to be. I don't know what's not working specifically. I guess
I think because a lot of the sets are similar, because we're on the same locations for the flashbacks. I do agree. Kind of like where I referenced a little bit ago. It's like, if you were doing a Greta Gerwig Little Women, if we are visually or through color or whatever, if we're more distinctly identifying the 1970s versus the present day, like I do think that would help better distinct it. Again,
it is, because like I feel like I haven't seen Godfather Part 2 in a long time. I'm very overdue to rewatch that one, because first time I watched it, we'll
do it on this
shit. We probably should. That would be interesting for Coppola's out there, and with Megalopolis, I feel like there is like that. dear God, is he gonna come back and
What's
do one
gonna
more?
happen next? Yeah.
No one like 3. What if you really like just like double down?
Megalopolis. What a feature.
Yeah. We'll cover that too.
What a moving
I
picture.
feel like we have to.
But you were saying.
But like, Godfather Part 2, I think even has like that, like the past is more sepia than like the present day stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting to use that as like the role model, but then still just go with the predominantly blue and white scheme, which again, like those are like the Grease colors.
No, but I get
But
you.
it's like, I don't know, it's a flashback of the 70s. Like
It's language. It's a language.
You're setting up your
visual
own language and stuff. And if you're going to do better, if you're going to attempt to do better than the first movie in that regard, I feel like they're still just dropping the ball in like weird places.
Yeah, I get that.
Which is kind of weird, which does make the idea of a third one really like interesting to me.
I was gonna say, in terms of, do we need one more?
Yes.
Going
circling this question we have,
because there have been conversations for Mamma Mia
Yes.
3. Amanda Seyfried gets asked at like
Yes.
every red carpet that she's in.
Julie Walter, what is her? I need to look it up. I don't like that. I don't know it off the top of my head, because it's Mama Weasley, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
she's
should
the
know her
best. She's
name.
great. She's great in both these.
Julie Walters.
Oh, thank you, Walters.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yes, Julie Walters. So she's retired from acting right now, but she said she would come out for a third one.
Heck yeah.
So
One last ride.
one more ride. she's like Sam Elliott in Ghost Rider. She's like,
If you were gonna say, if it's Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, what do you think the subtitle is there?
Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. My.
Or is it Mamma Mia, I missed you?
Maybe. I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like you'd have to throw in like another.
Yeah. Here We
title.
Go Again. It has to be a different song.
Yeah, like you just go Mamma Mia,
Waterloo.
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, it's Waterloo. We go back in time.
It's Waterloo.
Yeah.
So Amanda Seyfried bonks her head. She goes back in time, a la Singing in the Rain, dancing Cavalier.
A la Benchwarmers, or not, Sandlot 3.
Sandlot. Oh, I haven't seen Sandlot 3.
Sandlot 3, bump on the head, goes back in time to original Sandlot.
I've only seen the first Sandlot.
So I've seen
I
1
will
and 2.
probably have similar energy going into those if we ever cover them to this, because I'm just like,
I have a feeling I won't have as hot of a take on Sandlot 2 and 3 than I do on Mamma Mia 2.
yeah.
I have a feeling that you and I,
the hot takes.
yeah,
we'll probably be in alignment on that.
we'll
one.
probably be pretty on the money with those.
Yeah, no, it's this. Yeah, this movie's very interesting as a sequel, because you've made very good points explaining the movies. I mean, I do like them a lot. I feel like I've been sitting here like go on.
This is the thing, is that I'm like, I gotta.
You kind of have to, but no,
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this, because like I feel like with Mission Impossible, you and I have just been like, yeah.
No, this is
for
what
like
it's all about.
3 weeks straight, and like
Yeah.
now going into this one, we're like, it's like, this is a very interesting animal. Like,
It is.
because that first one is so contained, it feels really stupid to do a sequel,
I
and
agree.
now we have one. So to do a third one really is like Amanda Seyfried's even on record. She's like, do we have like enough unused ABBA songs at this point? And
I
I'm
don't
like,
know if we
maybe
do.
not, but like, if they could find some way to recontextualize, because like they reuse songs in this one, and
Yeah.
we like those songs so much, why not? And like the guys from ABBA still alive, why not get them to write some more
That would be fun.
music? Like,
Yeah.
apparently they were asked to write an original song for the first one, and they were like, nah, just nah.
Sick. Good
Which
stuff.
is like crazy, because these guys are good. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've listened to the Chess soundtrack.
No.
That's like their other, because like way before they did Mamma Mia, they just went to Broadway in the 80s, and like, well, I guess it was the West End, I think was the first version, but they wrote Chess, the musical, and it was like a 70s Cold War, epic about like a Bobby Fischer type, like sort of navigating the chess scene of the 80s. And the score is phenomenal.
Hell
if you've ever
yeah.
heard the song One Night in Bangkok, it is a bop.
Got you.
But it's like, they're really good. So it's like crazy that like, and like the guy is in the movie. He plays the piano and in cameos in both. He's
That's what I
in
thought.
Dancing Queen. He's like on the boat, like,
Yeah.
and he's like dun 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 dun. And then when they do Waterloo, he's playing the piano in the French cafe there. So it's like he's there. Like, I don't know if one of them has died and he just doesn't do it anymore. But
Sure.
like, I don't know. Like, I guess
What's
like,
stopping?
but like, if we're gonna do a third one, it might behoove them to find a way to write more ABBA or something, or maybe even just like pull from Chess or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I want them to do that, because Chess is like a bucket list movie I want to do.
The only
It's my
thing.
dream project right there.
Nobody take it.
Anyone takes it, it'll stab you in the neck.
What
That that was violent.
He's letting you know, okay? Mamma mia.
It just cuts to the colored bars like
It's the Cat in the Hat. I'll get you and I'll make it look like a bloody accident or whatever.
I'm just smiling really intense and everyone's like, he's not joking. He's gonna kill people.
The only thing that I can think of, and I was trying to think about what Mamma Mia 3 would be, Mamma 3.
It's a Little Mermaid 2 situation, I think.
Interesting.
What were you gonna say? I interrupted.
I was gonna say, my thing was I was like, so it's been almost 10 years since this one. 2018.
Oh God, you're right. It has.
Yeah,
2008
to 2018. So technically 2028
fuck.
would be when. Yeah, I know.
Oh, y'all making me feel old.
I try not to think about it too much. I just try to look at the numbers and not equate it to my
There's a reason
life.
I'm wearing a hat today, and that's because I'm watching my hairline go back in these episodes. And
But no, I think so. The thing is that it's like if we're going chronologically, right? Her daughter would be 10.
Yeah, I mean, well, so did they say it was a daughter?
Oh, I thought it was a daughter. Yeah,
I thought they said it was a son.
I don't remember. Well, their kid would be 10.
The kid would be 10.
So the only thing,
daughter. This is like the whole it's a mother-daughter story kind of thing. Like it's gonna be like weird if they're like, it's a boy.
Yeah. And aren't they a handful? Which is true.
Which is true. I mean, it could color the whole movie in a different. Well, I mean, it's just that thing of like that actually might be more interesting in a way because like if you have like the really strong like mother-son dynamic and then he has to like he's met a girl, but if he's only 10, like I don't see them doing that.
The only thing that I could think of,
unless they're jumping, if they're gonna do a full 20.
That's the thing is that I'm like, if you're 20,
it's his wedding.
that was the thing is I was gonna say is like the timeline doesn't work out if you're doing chronological. We're talking about the Mamma Mia timeline. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's objectively the coolest thing we've ever done.
So in this time skip, John Cena is the grandson of Donna Sheridan.
You know, I'm into that. But it's like the only thing I think of is that it's like, you know, it's been 20 years in our time since the last one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, would you do, it's like, it's the kid's wedding. But yeah, then it is like, well, then you're aging everybody another 10 years.
I know. Well, that gets
Are
you
you
going
to wait till
like
2038? You know what I mean?
Amanda Seyfried, I don't think is ready to play the mother of a 20-year-old. Like, which I wouldn't buy that right now.
The only like bringing, and I also think in terms of like we're talking about narrative runway, which is what I'm exclusively talking about. But I think you bring up ABBA music. It's one of those things of like, you know, we got 2 done, and it does feel like we're kind of locked in. I don't know, like we did. I say like we need to do something bold, like kill Donna. I understand why you're doing it. I don't think you can pull that again.
Pierce, run.
Yeah, you can't kill somebody else for the third one.
No,
like,
you can't. We've already done it. Like, so it'd just be another funeral.
So it's like, is it another wedding in parallel to the first one? But then it's like, well, whose wedding?
You know what I want?
Like,
you know what I want?
What?
So I'm gonna set this up with. I'm gonna reference a musical no one on this podcast has probably watched, and I haven't actually seen it, but Carousel. This is like a famous Broadway musical from the 40s and 60s and stuff like that. The movie I think came out in the 60s, but it's like a 2 timeline thing, and it's like the first story is about like a guy with nothing. He falls in love with the girl, and then she gets pregnant. And he realizes that he's got to like step up, but then that doesn't go well, and he like turns to crime and dies in like a shootout before the end of Act 1. Like going into Act 2, he dies. Act 2 is about his ghost watching his kid grow up. So hear me out. Could we have a third one where Donna's ghost, which we've established can appear,
true,
Obi-Wan style, be sort of like, I don't know, like, can we find a way to like have her like, I don't know, like, is there a way we can make that is like
all I could
the setup of her watching her grandchild like do that thing, or maybe Cher dies and then both their ghosts are haunting the island.
They're going, you must go to the Dagobah system.
Go to the Dagobah system. Use the force.
Meet Master
Use
ABBA.
the Mamma Mia. Use the power of pasta.
Dude,
harness it.
That would rule. And then the dream sequence on Dagobah, you do it in like
Sophie,
a Broadway
you turned off
stage.
your dancing queen protocol.
That's awesome.
She's like, I'm fine.
Dude. You know what?
No, I don't know. I don't even know if I want that actually, but like,
just how could you do it?
What do you do? Because I'm like, I like the idea of going chronologically, but then the kid's 10. What's the milestone?
What's the thing?
Yeah, because like the first one's the big wedding, so that's like obviously like a huge thing, and that's very closely tied to her relationships from the past. But like Sophie's story's pretty much the first movie, so like it's not like you can set up like there's no loose ends from that to like
I don't think there's a way.
tie on. I don't think there's a way to,
as much as I like,
do a third one.
both of
And I'm
these
just trying to think, if you
movies.
add a kid who's turning 10, like there's no milestone there, right? Like
Never
it's just
something
10.
that makes a movie series more complicated. Adding a kid.
Yeah.
We've never seen that happen where they're like, what if we put a kid in here and everybody was on board with it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or is this where we reveal that Lady Gaga is Sophie's sister and that Meryl also had like another torrid affair on the island?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do think Gaga in a Mamma Mia movie would fucking rule.
That would go hard.
I
That would go hard.
would. Okay, honestly, but this is the thing, we said it earlier. A
Or is
Lion
Lady
King 1.5
Gaga's
is kind of the only thing I think that makes sense. Is that it's like we're taking these characters
That
and
would
doing
actually be
something
fun.
else.
Actually, you know what would be fun? You do Meryl. She's not de-aged. It's just still Meryl. But you say it's like
She could do it. She's aged
it's
so
it's
well.
her on the island with a 10-year-old Sophie. We just go back there, and then we bring back Lily James to sort of be like the kid's 10 now.
Interesting.
And I don't know what else is happening there, but
Or we do Mamma Mia Beyond, and it's in New Greece.
it's in New Greece.
It's their kid, and she has a robot suit.
Her
and
kid is Adam Driver.
Yes. Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Actually, Adam Driver, I would like to see in a
someone
in a Mamma
starts
Mia.
to sing Dancing Queen, and he goes, "You're still holding on." Fucking-
I'm still holding on. He
Oh.
kind of feels like he could be related to Cher.
I would love to see Adam Driver in a musical.
I would take that. Yes.
Adam Driver can do anything. I love that
Yeah,
guy.
he's great.
He's funny as
He
shit.
sings.
dude.
He does some musical
Yeah,
numbers
Being
in Marriage
Alive
Story. Yeah,
and-
just
and
being
Vera.
alive. I know that's another dream project.
Yeah, company.
Noah Baumbach. I know you like that musical. If you touch that thing, I will.
That's
A
awesome.
lot of stabbing today.
Let's start a beef with Noah Baumbach.
I'm coming after you. It's gonna save you. What's Greta gonna do?
That's
She's
crazy.
gonna cast Meryl as Aslan.
That's dude. All in on that rumor.
Yeah.
By the way.
That's interesting.
Love
That's really
that.
interesting. That one, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
it's
'Cause I know people
Neeson.
aren't happy about that. And yeah, Liam Neeson though is Liam Neeson. That's
What,
really
are
good.
people just unhappy because Meryl's a woman?
Probably.
Get fucked.
Which doesn't bother me. I'm just sort of like, I'm really curious how that one's gonna go because
Just the movie series in general.
because I'm like, it doesn't sound like they're gonna like Greta's too smart to just start over exactly the way they did. Because the first one, pretty 1-to-1 in that book. So like, if you reboot and do this series that way, it's like,
I think
why?
she's doing. Is it Magician's Nephew? Is this actually the first book?
well, so chronologically, it's the first story, but it's like that was like the last book that came out for the
Okay.
Narnia series, I believe. And but it's like a episode Star Wars 1 episode 1 situation where it's
Gotcha,
like we've
gotcha,
done
gotcha.
all the adventures and wrapped it up. Now we're gonna jump back 40 years, 80 years until the real
yeah.
chapter 1
Before the beginning.
before the beginning.
To
and-
quote Lion King 1.5 again.
oh my God, she's gonna re-edit the first ones for the box set. She's gonna add rocks and robots and dancing people.
That would be crazy if she's like. If she was like Greta Gerwig's Narnia is just the other Narnia movies with some new
Recut
shit I
Lucas
put
style.
in, that I would be like,
just the Citizen Kane clap.
yeah,
We're like,
just fully, like, what a bold move. No,
that is bold. No,
it's because she's doing it. I'm like, let's go,
no, that's
man.
good. Here we go again.
Yeah,
Interesting that our pitch for a third Mamma Mia was actually just discussing Chronicles of Narnia.
yeah, that is interesting.
But hey, Meryl's gonna be in both.
Yeah,
it's
but yeah,
fine.
Meryl is
It's fine.
Aslan, fully
Meryl's
behind
fine.
it.
I'm fully behind it. It's Meryl.
I think that, yeah,
to quote Modern Family, she could play Batman and she'd be right for the role.
you're right. I would love. I remember seeing that episode. I was like, yeah, dude, I'd love to see that. Are
No,
you kidding
It'd
me?
be awesome. It's like I kind of actually like after we've discussed the second one like as much as we have, I kind of would really like to see them do a third one and really stick the landing.
Just out of
but-
curiosity.
Just out of curiosity.
Sure.
But like I'm just like there like again, like if you go chronologically, she has a kid who's turning 10. What's that story?
Yeah, where are we? What are we?
What's that story? Is it time to close the island? Did the Belladonna fail? Like, is it time to say goodbye?
That's what I thought, but I was like, that
but
feels a
that's
little.
again, that runs counter to like what is like Mamma Mia is so fun and energetic and like it feels like it exists in a space where bad things just don't happen. So like again, like with Donna dying, it's like no, she can't die because people don't die in these movies. Like it's kind of how I feel. And it's like not to like get all in the history of the movie, but just a shit in the history of the movie. That actually feels really appropriate. We've had many tangents in this show, and I'm like gonna like have an appropriate one for once, and I'm gonna shoot it down.
Let's do it.
All right. But like One of the reasons Meryl Streep is in Mamma Mia in the first one, and fun fact, Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks, executive producers, basically all of those people saw the Broadway run in 2001, like after 9/11, and were just like blown away, and they're like, we haven't laughed or smiled in months because of this horrible thing that happened, and it was nice to be like distracted from that for 90 minutes or 2 hours, because I don't know how long the original play is. I'm assuming it's probably 2 hours, but
probably,
like, you know, and same for this movie. It's like with all these like really stressful things going on, when I pop on Mamma Mia, I want to escape for 90 minutes. So it's like having Donna Be Dead, if you do a third one where they escape the, or not escape the island, but you know, they're being pushed out of the
It's
island.
a Jurassic Park situation.
Actually, it's a Planet of the Apes situation.
Interesting.
She goes back in time.
Listen, honestly, like
through the power of
those first
through
three
the power
Apes
of
movies,
Aphrodite.
If it opened with a spaceship landing, like
Actually,
a modern day spaceship, and it's Amanda Seyfried, fucking Dominic Cooper, and the kid, and they're all like helmets off.
Okay, but on that note though, a sort of Sophie's bonked on the head is having a fever dream magic moment through the power of Aphrodite, or maybe she just hit her head. Maybe something like Hook, where she has to go on an adventure that never happened.
Yeah.
With like Lily James as like young Donna, like, and I get to see
a Men in Black 3, if you will.
Oh, like a Men in Black 3, like where we're kind of going back in time, but not actually. But I don't know. Maybe that's how you do it. I don't know.
The Chitauri
Maybe
invade.
I should direct Mamma Mia 3.
Good.
Maybe I can bridge the gap. Like I'll be like Thor in this when he's building Stormbreaker, and I just have Mamma Mia 1 and 2, and I'm like dragging them together.
Do it.
Okay.
This is the green light.
Let's
make it happen.
Yeah, no, I guess I shouldn't really pitch that. But again, like I guess with like just the whole like thing of like part of I think what made Mamma Mia so successful is that out of like on the heels of like a tragedy, they gave people a perfect escape.
Sure.
And I think even now more than ever with you know this economy, everything that's going on in the world, it's a very stressful time.
Is something going on?
So I'm told.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm told.
Okay. I gotta look.
There's a war?
2 wars!
2 wars!
There's
2
No,
wars,
you're
who
right.
Are we at war with? That's from Always Sunny, if you've never seen it. Which is how I feel sometimes when we're doing the show. I feel like, do I have anything interesting to say today, or am I just gonna be like Dennis?
No, we got it.
Fagin.
We're distracting
I guess
ourselves
it's
from
just that
the
thing
world
of like
in its current state, which is horrible.
Yeah, I guess with this third one, I guess the world more than ever does kind of need a third Mamma Mia. But
sure, I see that.
And narratively speaking, to answer the question, I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, no.
I'm a no. I think we have.
But if they give me a third one that surprises me, I will be very happy.
I would be fascinated.
I'm so open to being wrong about sequels. I love when they're good.
And we've talked about this. Anything can work.
Anything can work. Well, it's like to do a sequel to Godfather, like we've talked about it multiple times. That's a crazy thing to do.
Sure.
Like
Star
that
Wars,
first movie
people thought it was
Star
crazy.
Wars at the time would have been a crazy thing to do. Although that one at least has the narrative of like, hey, there's still a galactic war and Darth Vader just got knocked out of the sky.
Yeah.
Like you can go like, well, Darth Vader's still out there. We still have to win that battle. But like Godfather's like Michael, spoilers for Godfather. Michael is the Godfather now. So it's like interesting that the second one is like a masterpiece in its own right and maybe even better than the first one. So it's like, and we don't have that energy quite for Mamma Mia, but like, don't come at me. Don't come at me.
It's okay.
I just like I took off the bulletproof vest and threw it on the ground.
I think I've laid enough groundwork that they'll come at me. I think you're.
No. It's like, but like no, like these movies do provide an escape for people. I think.
Totally.
I know I've been pretty harsh in the second one, but given those scores, that is not true for many of the people who watch these movies. So like, I know and I feel like a lot of other people are sort of like or like probably know as well, but yeah, like I'm here if they can make it work.
If there's a take, I'm always open for.
I'm always open to a good take.
100%.
Good take. Action.
And in that case, we will now next week we'll be moving into the series we were covering.
Mission Impossible.
Here we go
talk
again.
About 4.
Ghost Protocol.
Mission Impossible. Here we go again.
Like we said, we're going Ghost.
We're going Ghost.
I can't wait to go Ghost.
We're going Ghost. I love going Ghost.
It's one of my favorite pastimes. Baseball, apple pie, going ghost.
Taxes is death.
Yeah.
Apple pie is pretty good though.
Apple pie is pretty
little
good.
a la mode action.
You know what's also pretty good? Vegan apple pie. I've had some of it. Surprisingly quite good. At least that I have had.
Where?
Whole Foods. I got it for a date once, and I was like, you know what? This kind of is fucking good.
I'm like,
I'm gonna be honest. I had it. I thought it was all right.
Just get frozen yogurt, bro.
We did that too. Well, yeah.
Got that.
But yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're wrapping up now. But
yeah you ready to go ghost?
I'm ready to go ghost.
I think it's due.
We're going ghost.
Yeah. And we will lead
Feels
our
like
way.
I'm talking about my pitch for 3, where it's ghost sharing.
Yeah, true. Let us know your
Let us
thoughts
know. How do you
for
think
Mamma
they
Mia
could do
3.
a third one? Because we're probably gonna get one whether we like it or not. But
True.
You
think it'll happen?
I think it will.
Yes or no?
I think
it
these
will.
two make way too much money to not.
Sure.
But I don't know what they're gonna do.
Me neither. I guess we'll see.
And
we'll cover it.
And we will cover it. We'll come back for another spectacular.
Heck yeah. All
right. Yeah.
Well,
we'll see you next week when we go ghost, when we return to Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
This is a video gag, like Dave's hat. Get prepped.
We're going ghost.
He's wearing a ghost hat.
He's wearing a ghost hat. Yeah.
We're going ghost.
We're going ghost.
Thank you for listening to We Need One More.
Be sure to follow us on socials like TikTok and Instagram at WNOM Podcast to stay up to date on upcoming episodes.
And feel free to join our Discord community where you can share your thoughts on the movies we're watching together. That's going to be at WNOM Podcast server with a link in the bio.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. That's the best way to support the show and to let us know that you need one more.
We'll see you next week. This podcast is produced by Pilot 9 and 9 Ball Creative.